I'm 74 years old, and I don't have much patience left for pretending things turned out fine. I'm not sick right now, not dying this minute, but I can feel the edges of time closing in. That's why I'm saying this out loud, not for relief, not for praise, just because it's late, and late has a way of stripping things down to what's true. Most days now are quiet, too quiet, the kind of quiet that doesn't feel peaceful, just empty. I sit at the kitchen table longer than I need to. I reread the same headlines. I let the coffee go cold. There isn't much urgency anymore, and that's the cruel part. All my life I thought urgency was the problem. I thought once it went away, everything would finally settle. It didn't. I'm telling you this because you're still in motion. You still believe, the way I did, that there will be more time later, more time to fix things, more time to show up properly, more time to say what matters. That belief shaped my entire life, and I didn't realize it until there was nothing left to rearrange. When I was younger, I wasn't reckless. I wasn't careless. That's important for me to say. I made sensible choices. I worked hard. I showed up early. I stayed late. I kept my word. People relied on me, and I took pride in that. If you'd asked anyone back then, they would have said I was doing things right. In my 20s, I was already thinking ahead, always ahead. I thought life was something you prepared for, like a long trip. You pack now so you can enjoy it later. I believed if I handled the responsibilities first, the rest would fall into place. Love, rest, closeness. Those could wait. They were flexible. Work wasn't. I remember my first real job, the smell of the office, the hum of the lights, the feeling that I was finally becoming someone solid. I liked being needed. I liked the order of it. Clock in, clock out, get better, move up. It gave my days a shape. It gave me an excuse to postpone everything else. I told myself I was building something, a future, a cushion, a sense of safety. And I was, in a way. But what I didn't see was what it was costing me while it was happening, because the cost didn't come all at once. It leaked out slowly, like air from a tire you don't notice until the ride gets rough. I missed dinners, not every night, just enough to make them feel optional. I missed birthdays, but I always had a reason. Deadlines, travel, being tired. I told myself I'd make it up later, when things calmed down, when work eased, when the timing was better. There was always a later. I didn't ignore people. I postponed them. That's how it felt. Less cruel, less final. I'd say, soon, and I meant it. I really did. I believed soon was a real place I was heading toward. Conversations got shorter. Check-ins replaced talks. I'd listen with one ear while thinking about the next thing. I was physically there, but I wasn't settled. I was always leaning forward into the future, never fully in the room. There were moments that should have stopped me. A look on someone's face when I said I couldn't stay. A pause on the other end of the phone. A question that didn't get asked again. At the time, they felt small, inconvenient. I didn't know they were warnings. Years passed like that. Not dramatically, quietly. One promotion, one move, one routine after another. Life didn't fall apart. That's what made it dangerous. Everything looked fine from the outside. Stable, respectable. I mistook that for success. I told myself I was being responsible, that I was doing what adults do. You don't chase feelings. You manage obligations. You don't linger. You push through. I thought presence was a luxury, something you earn later. By my 40s, the habits were set. I was efficient at distance, good at being dependable in practical ways, less good at being available in the moments that didn't schedule themselves. I didn't notice how much I'd train people not to expect me. The turning point didn't arrive with drama. It rarely does. It came with a phone call I almost let go to voicemail. An illness that wasn't supposed to be serious until it was. A room that felt too small for what was being said. I remember sitting there, listening, and realizing how little leverage I had left. No amount of effort could undo what had already been missed. No apology could create time where there was none. I wanted to rewind, but life doesn't have a reverse. It just keeps moving, whether you're ready or not. After that, things changed, but not the way people say they do. I didn't suddenly become wise or free. I just became aware, painfully aware, of patterns, of absences, of the weight of all those laters piling up behind me. Some relationships didn't survive that awareness, not because of anger, because of distance that had hardened into shape. You can't always rebuild something once people learn how to live without you. That's one of the hardest things to accept, that people adapt, they adjust, they stop waiting. By the time you turn back toward them, they've already reorganized their lives around your absence. I carry that knowledge with me now. It sits quietly, but it's heavy. It shows up when the house is silent, when there's no one to tell a story to, when I realize I don't know the details of lives I was once central to. I still have memories, plenty of them, but memories aren't the same as shared time. They don't answer back. They don't laugh. They don't forgive. They just sit there, unchanged, while you age around them. I want to be clear about something. I'm not saying my life was a failure. I'm grateful for parts of it. I learned things. I helped in ways that mattered. But I confused motion with meaning. I thought staying busy was the same as staying connected. It isn't. The belief that shaped everything for me was simple and deadly, that there would always be more time. Time to call, time to listen, time to be still, time to choose differently. I treated time like it was expandable, like it responded to good intentions. It doesn't. Time doesn't care what you plan to do later. It only counts what you do now. There are things I can't fix, conversations that will never happen, apologies that have no place to land, moments that passed quietly and took their opportunity with them. I live with that. I've learned to, because there's no alternative. If you're listening to this and you're younger than me, you don't need to do anything drastic. I'm not asking you to quit your job or rewrite your life. I just want you to notice what you're postponing. Notice who keeps getting moved to the side. Notice the stories you tell yourself about later. Later is fragile. It's thinner than you think. I used to believe presents would come naturally once things settled. They never fully do. Life keeps offering reasons to delay. There's always one more task, one more push, one more thing to get through. If I understood anything now, it's that the small choices repeat, and repetition is what builds a life. Not the big decisions, the daily ones, who you answer, where you stay, what you let yourself feel. I don't have many years left to reallocate. I know that. I make peace with it most days. Some days are harder, but acceptance isn't a grand feeling, it's quiet. It's waking up and choosing not to lie to yourself anymore.